I mean, I'll say two things about that. I mean, first of all, I think everyone is trying to do good public relations at the moment. So Barnier is trying to sound reasonable, as though he's going to be compromising. Boris Johnson's doing the same. And that's ahead of this EU summit on Thursday and Friday. And we really won't know what's going to happen until then. I mean, there's still irreconcilable differences over what they want in terms of what they call a deal. You know, particularly where the customs union border is going to be. I mean, Barnier wants it down the middle of the Irish Sea, or even through the English Channel, you know, Boris Johnson obviously was saying the customs border must be between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. You know, Northern Ireland must stay with the rest of the United Kingdom in terms of customs. But then that's the second point, which you sort of raised in your question, is what does a deal actually mean? Because this word is being deliberately used to confuse people about whether this is going to be a free trade agreement, which is what everyone wants, or whether it's going to be a vassalage treaty, as you said, Theresa May's vassalage treaty reheated. And we won't actually know the detail of this until we actually see whatever Boris Johnson comes back with on Friday, if he comes back with anything at all. You know, and the danger I see is that Parliament is being recalled to sit on Saturday for the first time in 37 years. So me having a suspicious mind because of seeing all the delays and obfuscation over the last 3 years is I am worried that they're going to bring back a reheated version of this vassalage treaty on Friday, and Parliament will just rubber stamp it on Saturday without having checked it at all and done any kind of proper scrutiny on it, and then we'll end up being locked into all of the EU systems, and we'll have Brexit in name only. Yeah, that is absolutely one of their strategies, to delay it and go on and on and on. And also you're getting the propagandists on the mainstream media actually saying, oh, the public is bored of this, the public just wants it to be done. And then people start to believe it because this kind of language is being programmed into people's brains. You know, we're all getting lulled to sleep. We're all getting fatigued deliberately. It's been 3.5 years nearly since we voted, and people are starting to say, look, I just want the end of it. But we mustn't be complacent. We must carry on fighting, and we must scrutinize anything that comes back properly, because if we get Brexit in name only, then we're not leaving. We will be in an even worse position than we were if we stayed in, because we'll have to be obeying all of the EU's directives and regulations and rules, but we won't have any say over them. Even the tiny 9% say that we have on the European Council and in the European Parliament will be gone. I mean, that's not much, but we'll have nothing. We'll have no say over any of these things. You know, but I do think that outside the London bubble, people are switched on. There's a lot of people who are wise to this, and I don't think that people will accept it as readily as the sort of globalist EU-file bubble in London wants people to accept it. There's a lot of anger in the country as to the betrayals which have gone on, the successive betrayals in Westminster, and the obvious strategy of the EU to try to keep us in the EU and not let us go. So people are intelligent, and people are on the whole not going to accept this. It depends. It really does depend on what happens in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Things can change just like that, and we've seen that over the last 3 years. I mean, at the moment, the media is, giving Boris a nice, easy ride, and everything seems to be going well for him. But that doesn't mean that in a few days' time everything could turn round dramatically again. I mean, he could be the villain next week. In April, the Tories were right down. They lost the EU elections, and now they've come up again. But it doesn't mean that they won't go back down again in a heartbeat if he is seen to betray the nation. So we really won't know until the 31st of October how the land is going to lie for the next election. So he shouldn't count his chicken just yet.